Earlier this year, we received a tip from a source. State police officers working lace overtime shifts for local parishes weren't working their full shift. The source said the troopers would write tickets for a few hours, reach an unwritten quota, then take off the rest of their shift while still earning money. April 21st, we filed a public records request with state police for all timesheets for state police employees who worked lace in Troop B in 2016. It took state police almost 3 months to produce the records, but we received them on June 26th. The next day, we asked for tickets written by a few state troopers for a few days. State police had to redact some information in the tickets, so we limited our request to receive the tickets quickly. Included in that June 27th request, citations for Daryl Thomas and Eric Curley, 2 of the troopers who were part of our investigation. The ticket showed Curley wrote his first citation 3 hours into his lace shift. Thomas wrote most of his tickets in 1 hour, in 5-minute increments. But we needed proof troopers weren't working a full shift. So beginning June 29th, we compiled a list of possible home addresses for many of the state troopers doing lace in our area, and we drove around to see if their car was at home. We found a few troopers' vehicles at home and began to focus on that group. But we needed to watch these troopers for a full day or longer and didn't want to have our photographer sitting in a car for long stretches. We purchased 2 of these small cameras. They have a long battery life and will record video for nearly 24 consecutive hours. We parked our news unit near a trooper's house with the camera rolling to see what we found. On Friday, July 21st, we parked our news unit outside the home of Trooper Byron Sims. He lives on the West Bank. That day, we found his car returning home at 3:08, 3 hours before his lace shift ended. We wanted the car to stay there to see if he worked over the weekend, too. But around 9 p.m. that night, New Orleans police showed up at the East Bank home of our news operations manager, asking him why we had a news unit parked on a West Bank street. The police left his house, but as a precaution, we retrieved the news unit from Sims's street. In August, we received timesheets for Sims and Trooper Sean Boyd and discovered our undercover work found them at home while they billed taxpayers. We continue to move our undercover camera from house to house. We ditched our unmarked news unit for a rental car. Along the way, we found a walker paying tribute to Tom Petty.
Stand me up in the gates of hell, but I won't back down.
And a neighbor who became a bit suspicious. Every few weeks after we found instances of these troopers coming and going, we filed public records requests for timesheets and tickets to help determine if our work produced any findings. The night of Sunday, September 10th, around midnight, our photographer swapped our camera pointed at the home of Trooper Daryl Thomas. But when our photographer went back the next morning, the camera was gone. Later, we found out from state police that Thomas told them he found a camera pointed at his house. Thomas says he dropped the camera in the grill of the car, though we were never able to find it or recover it. The camera was gone. What's even more interesting, hours after spotting our camera, Thomas continued to skip work. The camera went missing between midnight and 8 a.m. on September 11th. We set up a new camera on September 11th around 9 a.m. to noon. Thomas's timesheet shows him on the clock, but he remained at home, aware someone was watching him, but still continuing to falsify his timesheet for that day.